Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We're about to get into a mailbag where I answer your guys' questions live. The only way to be on the mailbag is you got to be a subscriber. So go down right now, hit that big red button, subscribe, and you got to join us on our live shows. So turn the notifications on because we go live every single Wednesday, and I want you there next week. So subscribe and turn your noties on so you can be a part of the family as soon as this Wednesday. Shout out to Aubrey. What up, bro? He said, if only Tibbs is ready and not Aziz, who do we see getting more snaps between Ward and X-Man? Ward has been good with the run. Jihad Ward has been really good against the run. I think Kayvon Thibodeaux coming back would probably take more snaps away from O'Shane Ximines because Jihad Ward is a more functional and multi-dimensional defensive lineman. He can play on the edge. He can play in the middle. I mean, when you look at this depth chart, O'Shane Ximines and Tom Fox are really the only outside edge rushers you have if Ojulari and Thibodeaux aren't healthy. Jihad Ward can be an edge rusher, but he's more of an edge setter in the run game. He's really good at shedding blocks, taking up multiple blocks. I continue to think that Jihad Ward will play a large part and may lead the Giants' defensive line in snap counts again. But if Thibodeaux's back and no Ojulari, I would still expect O'Shane Ximines to get a lot of snaps this Sunday. B. Baloli, what up, my guy? I hope I said that right. Do you think more Packers or G-Mans fans will be in London? That's a great question. Maybe I'd probably go Giants. I think they're more of a worldwide fan base, and maybe the Packers are more of an American fan base, but I wouldn't be surprised either way. These are both two of the more popular teams in the NFL. Going overseas to play games are fun. I'm looking forward to that. But my mind is on Dallas right now. 3-0. F Dallas. Actually, everybody right now, type F Dallas in the comment section because that's got to be our mindset all week. AJ Gray, what up, man? Did you hear about Tiki Barber talking about Lamar Jackson being a Giant? AJ, I did hear about that, and I didn't really want to talk about it on the channel, but since you brought it up, I guess we'll talk about it. Here's what Tiki Barber said on his radio show, Tiki and Tyranny. He said, the perfect place for Lamar Jackson is New York, a place that has money, a place that is an ideal media market for a star, a former MVP who's dynamic and has got a coach who is going to help him turn into a Josh Allen level quarterback that always is in the MVP conversation, is Brian Daboll in the New York Football Giants. I'm now starting to believe it. Lamar Jackson could be a New York Giant next year. Tiki Barber? Really? We're already going there, Tiki? I mean, I'm not going to really talk about the chances of it happening. I'll just say this. Lamar Jackson and the Brian Daboll, Mike Kafka hybrid offense would be absolutely electric. Lamar Jackson is one of the most dynamic players to ever put on a helmet and shoulder pads. I think the Baltimore Ravens would be stupid for letting him go, but we've seen stupid stuff happen in the NFL. If that guy enters free agency and the Giants have a chance to sign him because they have a bunch of cap money coming up, I'd submit an offer. I'd go after him. But hey, not really worried about that right now. I'm worried about Dallas. F Dallas in the comments. I'll ask you, though. Look, should the Giants sign Lamar Jackson? Should they pursue him in free agency this coming up year? Him and the Ravens have not been able to come to an extension. He's probably going to hit free agency. I wouldn't be surprised if just the Ravens franchise tag him. Tiki said it. I didn't say it. We're just reacting to it. Should the Giants sign Lamar? Type S for sign or P for pass. Gamer Nucky. How would you rate Daniel Jones so far this season? Good enough to be 2-0, but also a lot of room for improvement. He has to be better. He's made some good plays, like the third down throw to Richie James, the third down throw to David Sills. He's made some really good passes, but he's also missed some guys running wide open. I would grade him at about a C-. Good enough to pass, good enough to get you 2-0, but he also could have been the problem if you didn't win either football game. At the end of the day, he's 2-0, can't complain too much, but he has to be better going forward if the Giants want to continue to stack W's. Corinne, When will Thibodeaux get on the field? I think he's got a good chance this Monday night. Practice today in an on-field setting. He said he made a lot of progress, but he didn't want to go too far and said he's guaranteed to play. But look, if he doesn't play, the Giants should have placed him on short-term IR because this would be the third game missed, and you could have added another roster spot. Same with Azeez Ojulari. If he doesn't play this week, you should have put him on IR. So I think the expectation was always for them to be ready to go week 3. I think Thibodeaux has a higher chance than Ojulari to play. I just want to see 5, 51, and 99 all on the football field at the same time because those 3 guys are the 3-headed monster on the pass rush, and that's what I've been waiting for all offseason. I'll say Thibodeaux plays this week. Not sure about Ojulari. I doubt Leonard Williams does. Samuel Banks, what you think about signing Joe Schobert? They worked him out the other day. I saw that. I'm indifferent. I really don't think he's that good of a football player. He's a name for sure that we all know. But what's the difference between him and Blake Martinez? I would say Blake Martinez is a better football player. You just signed Jalen Smith, who was in the workout group with Schobert. So I think the Giants liked what they saw from Smith more to the practice squad. I mean, I'm not really in the camp of signing Schobert at this point. You already have linebackers like him and Austin Calitro. So no real need for Schobert. They already signed their guy in Jalen Smith. Good question, though, Samuel. You want to go 3-0? You want to beat the Cowboys? I'll keep this one short and sweet. We subbed for Giants dubs in week 1, and we got a dub. We subbed for Giants dubs in week 2, and we got a dub. Let's keep it going. Sub for Giants dubs, and let's beat the hell out of the Dallas Cowboys. Super chat from my guy, Dax. What up, Brody? Said, what up, Marsh? Do you think our offensive line can handle Micah Parsons? They're going to frickin' have to, man. This dude is electric. 4 sacks in 2 football games this year. 13 pressures in 2 football games. It's going to come down to game planning. Because I don't like the one-on-one matchup of Evan Neal and Micah Parsons. As good as I think Evan Neal can be and will be, he's not ready to block Micah Parsons one-on-one. Andrew Thomas, I'll take him every day of the week going one-on-one versus him. But it's going to have to be a group effort. You're going to have to get some double teams from Glowinski and Evan Neal. You're going to need your tight end to chip some. Expect for Chris Miriak to be a little bit of a pass blocker this week. Because if not, number 11 will wreck the football game. And you cannot let that happen. This guy is one of the best, if not the best defensive player in the National Football League. If you let him run wild, you let him wreck this football game, you let him get multiple sacks, a forced fumble on Daniel Jones, you're not going to win this football game. That's as honest as I can be. Richard Bangerfield, would you rather franchise tag Saquon Barkley or Daniel Jones? That's a good question. I would say Saquon Barkley. And I know it's going to upset some people. I just don't think Daniel Jones is a franchise quarterback. I love him. He plays hard. He plays with his heart. He never leaves anything left to be desired. He leaves it all out on the gridiron. But is he good enough to be a franchise quarterback? I don't think so. And the reason is, for Daniel Jones to be effective, I truly believe you have to have a great offensive line. You have to have a great arsenal of weapons. You have to have a great tight end. You have to have a great coordinator. You have to have a great head coach. You got to have a good running back. It is so hard to be perfect at every position, and that's just not likely in the NFL. No team is great at every position, and I only think that Daniel Jones can be great in a perfect situation. These are the 2023 franchise tag numbers. $31.4 million for Daniel Jones is a lot of freaking money. Whereas it's also a lot of money, $12.6 million to franchise Saquon Barkley. But I do think Saquon, while I'm not in the camp or a believer that you should pay running backs a lot of money, I just think he's a much better player than a guy like Daniel Jones. But look, I'll leave it up to you guys. I'd go down in the comments and type 26. But I'll ask you, type 8 for Daniel Jones or type 26 for Saquon Barkley. Who would you rather have? Or if you could only have one of these guys on the Giants next year, who would it be? Type 8 for Daniel Jones or type 26 for Saquon Barkley. One person that's for sure going to be on the Giants for a long, long time is number 5, Kayvon Thibodeaux. Get your Thibodeaux jersey today because he might play Monday night, and you're going to be rocking some gear during the season when he's on the football field. We got the blue one, and we got the white one for you. All you got to do is go to chatsports.com/Kayvon. It's right here. Chatsports.com/Kayvon. I'll put that link in the comments and description of today's show. Alan, what's more likely in your opinion with Kenny G? Traded, cut, or stay? I would say stay for this year, just because the salary cap, trying to trade him or cut him right now, it has a negative impact on your salary cap. And as we know, the Giants' salary cap situation is not all that great right now. So I would say for this season, it's to stay. But I think this is the last season that Kenny Galladay's on the Giants. I think I looked it up before the show today. If the Giants cut Kenny Galladay after this season, it's about $6.8 million in dead cap. It's a lot of money, but he also has a $21 million cap hit. So do you want him on the roster for $21 million, or do you want him on the roster for $6.8 million and him not actually on the roster? I think he's gone after this year, but I do think he finishes this year with the Giants. Mr. Assassin, my brother, do you think we will use a good amount of rollouts for Daniel Jones to get? I think that's a good idea, and I would roll away from such Micah Parsons. Moving the pocket is always a way to buy more pressure, and I think that's a good point by you, Mr. Assassin. I haven't really thought about that. We've seen that in the past couple of games that Daniel Jones has moved the pocket around a little bit. He's just not the greatest guy at throwing on the run. He's not really the greatest guy when the play breaks down, making something happen. But you got to do everything you can to not let 11 wreck this football game. If that means moving the pocket and rolling Jones out, I'm all for it. Mr. Assassin, go have a talk with Mike Kafka. That was a good idea. Last question in this mailbag. Sniper from deep. Do you think the Giants can go 4-0? Damn right I think the Giants can go 4-0. They should go 4-0. You're playing Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys with Cooper frickin' Rush at quarterback. And then you got the Chicago Bears next week. And hopefully our Bears host doesn't hear this. Justin Fields sucks. He is not good. Like, a lot of people, this is what I'll say about Justin Fields. Being able to make plays outside the pocket, being able to make plays off schedule, being a runner is the gravy on top. If you can't win it from the pocket on 3rd and 8 and on 3rd and 12, I don't care what you can do outside of that. You can have a good steak. The steak is being able to win from within the pocket. You can have a good steak without gravy, but you can't have good gravy without a steak. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to win from the pocket. I don't care if you can make plays off platform. If you can only make plays off platform and not win from the pocket, you're not going to make it in this NFL. Well, kind of didn't really answer the question, but damn right, I think the Giants should go 4-0. I think they will go 4-0, but it starts by going 3-0 against the Dallas Cowboys this week. I'll ask you guys, though. Predict the Giants' record after 4 games. Predict it for me. You got the Cowboys this week, and you got the Chicago Bears next week. Predict the Giants' record after 4 games right now in the comments.